Papua New Guinea's population is growing at 3% per annum with an estimated 8 million people. Due to the country's geographical landscape, surrounded by rugged terrains, steep mountains, swamps and fast-flowing rivers, it is not easy to reach bulk of the population. Many still live in very isolated communities without basic government services. This is despite efforts by the government to deliver services right to their doorsteps. To date, we still don't know how many people and the exact number of the population in the country. This is due to lack of proper and reliable data. Without data, planning and implementation of government policies are not workable. This year, the O'Neill-Able government is adamant of ensuring reliable data is readily available to plan and prioritize expense. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said this will be a major priority for the government over the next 5 years. Mr. O'Neill said, though we have estimates, they are not accurate enough.
We need to re-establish the National Data Collection Center so that we can plan better and we can develop policies even better. Accurate population data, Mr. Speaker, is key to proper public policy planning and monitoring. We must aim at keeping our economic growth above our population growth, Mr. Speaker. And we can only do this by having access to reliable data so that we can, of course, monitor these important indicators as we move forward.
The data will be used as well for the enrollment of electoral roll. With the government's focus on improving the electoral roll, it is now the responsibility of every stakeholders and authorities concerned to work together. The issue of national identification cards and the National Statistical Office are important components of ensuring correct enrollment data. The Department of National Planning and Monitoring is one organization that wants to ensure the issue of NID is fixed once and for all. Implementation of the project was deemed as failed as there was no value for the project. This was despite more than 250 million kina spent so far on the NID project alone. Only 300,000 NID cards were produced out of the 250 million kina spent so far. National Planning Minister Richard Maru revealed that funds intended for the project were not correctly used. He said, how can the government justify the funds when it was only used for producing ID cards? Where did the rest of the money go to? Minister Maru said national planning will focus on the rolling out of the project as an important agenda for the country. Hence, everyone must have an ID in order to vote during the general elections.
And one of my initial thoughts is, if you don't have ID card, you simply won't vote. Everybody must be registered using an ID and a number. And when you rock up for the election, the polling officers will just see your ID and know that you are the person. That will be a real incentive for people to make sure they come and have an ID card.
National Planning will work closely with the Electoral Commission to ensure technologies are effectively utilized in districts to improve enrollment data. Minister Maru said his next agenda is to clean up the mess once left behind by the National Statistics Office. He said the national census is an important part of data collection that is required for planning. With his leadership and management, he wants to see improvement in this area.
So that project will be a real focus of mine. The other focus will be national census. My national statistician, we can't mess it up again. Not the second time, and not under my watch. So I'll be keen to have briefs with you and with your team. I want to look at what lessons we've learned and how can we do it better and how we must get this right. The other aspect is getting economic data out on time, like the CPI. The calculations must be correct. The basket must be right. What goods should be in, what goods should be out. So I'll be spending some time to look at that. And we must provide information to the nation and to private sector and to industry on time. So that's will be another key focus